But it's so important to look at, okay, what have we done well? Where are the struggles at? Where can we do better?
Yeah.
And I think making those adjustments, making those changes, instead of just saying, oh, we lost.
Yeah.
To know, like, hey, the other team scored 2 goals. Mm-hmm. We can score 2 goals. Like, we just need to make some changes. This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate MarriageCast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 146. We are so proud of you, listener, for making this investment in your relationship and tuning in today. So welcome. Glad you're with us. And we are talking about a sports-related show today. We do a lot of sports analogies as they apply to marriage. We're talking World Cup.
World Cup time, Michelle. For those that don't know what that is, it is...
No, everybody knows what that is.
Everybody knows what it is.
And you guys know that we love soccer so much. We played our entire lives. And actually, I realized this, Ryan. I started when I was 11, and that was around the time that the first World Cup, or not the first one, but the World Cup was like really big. Was that the last time I was in the U.S.? 94?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and so I read an article about how there was this whole surge of people starting to play soccer. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was the year I started. So super fun. But our show today is all around this premise of not giving up at halftime. So welcome to our show. Welcome to... It's like we have our little sports announcer desk here. We're talking sports.
Absolutely.
And marriage.
Yes, Michelle. So... I think this has been an interesting World Cup.
You guys, also, this is airing on the 7th. I'm wearing my USA jersey. I really hope that... They're
still playing.
They're going to be in it.
I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now.
Because I'm wearing the shirt. And it's airing after the game. We have to be in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been so fun.
Yeah, it's been so fun. I think it's been fun to watch. There's a lot of like first time teams in the tournament.
Cape Verde has been super fun to watch.
There's just been a lot, and I think if you've been watching soccer lately, you've probably seen it happen where a team, maybe is struggling in the first half. They fall behind. They look like, they're completely outmatched. And then something changes, right? And there's an adjustment made and a renewed focus, and they come out in the second half and it just tells a whole different story.
Yeah. Yeah, where if you would have called that game at halftime, like, oh, they're definitely losing, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they flip or it's unexpected. And I think what we want to share today is using this analogy for your marriage. So whatever season you're in, if you're in a difficult season, just knowing that the first half doesn't have to define the second half. And Ryan, last year for your birthday, we kind of did, like a halftime themed show. I feel like this is really timely and appropriate to talk about again with this fun World Cup tie-in. But that's what we're talking about today. So tips for what those seasons could look like and what that second half could look like for you.
Yeah, Michelle.
And also, I want to be Norwegian and I want to row.
Oh, yeah.
Is it bruh? What did they say?
I don't know what they're saying. Bruh. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you guys seen the Norwegian teams playing and their fans? It's like they're rowing a Viking ship. So I went down this little rabbit trail of trying to figure out, a guy started it, like one of their fans started it, I think this year, and it's caught on like wildfire.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be the noise that they would make when the Viking ship is going up on the beach for attack. So the fans, like thousands of people, and we are the goalie we played soccer with, Svein and Jarl, both goalies, both brothers from Norway. He was at the game. So he had these videos of them all rowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have this really, what did he say, like a menacing chant?
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Menacing is a good word for it.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. So fun. Love the World Cup games. So second half.
Yeah. Michelle, the thing that's been so interesting to me, I think about this and about this concept of not giving up, of looking at the scoreboard and looking at, maybe you're down, maybe you've been getting just
Hammered.
Yeah, hammered, outmatched, like in the game. But what's been really cool, and I don't recall, but like I don't remember seeing so many goals scored so late in games.
Sure, that's true.
And there's been so many goals that have happened that are in, the quote unquote stoppage time.
Sure.
Of, the 90 minutes has passed, there's hydration breaks this World Cup, which is causing a lot of controversy, but
I'm all for them.
Yeah.
I mean, people are playing in Mexico. It's hot.
Yeah.
You got to be standard, right? Standardized. So
yeah.
You just have to decide. And it's, anyways, yes.
Yeah. And so like, it's been so fun to see that and see these late goals scored when like you think everything is lost and all of a sudden like, they tie it or they score in like the 95th minute to win the game.
Yeah. Where there was one where it was like an 89th minute goal or 80th minute. I don't remember. We watched so many games or highlights that I feel like all the teams are blurring together. But I feel like we just watched one where there was a goal in the 80 to 90 minute range. And then in stoppage time too.
Yeah.
Who was that we just watched?
Well,
everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that was really cool. We just watched speaking of the Vikings rowing, like we just watched Norway play, and they were winning the game, but like the team they were playing
was it Senegal?
Senegal just kept fighting and kept going, and like I actually thought they were gonna tie. I think had the game gone another like 2 minutes, I think it would have probably been tied.
Because I think they stopped it when they were maybe gonna have a corner kick or something, or going for something. There was another. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I think 1 or 2 more minutes, and they could have had it.
And so like it's just. Michelle, I like this analogy of just looking at, don't letting that dictate, the first half, or dictate what the game's going to be.
Yeah, I hope that our listeners, that you can feel hope in just some of these real life examples. So, whether you're facing conflict right now or just a turbulent season, and we've shared for us, we'll share as we go through the different points that we have here, just some different examples, but maybe you're feeling disconnected in this season. We just talked last week about, that crutch of being busy, like maybe you're just feeling disconnected or, whatever that is, but let this conversation be a reminder that where you're at doesn't have to be how you finish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Don't quit at halftime. Do not quit at halftime. Yeah. Don't let that score dictate the outcome of your game because you're not done.
Yeah. Michelle, God is often doing his greatest work when we can't see that final outcome.
That's good. Yeah. So Ryan, let's go through some highlights here or some different situations. So maybe for you, your current season of marriage does feel difficult, like I just said, but just remember that's not the whole story. So I think one sermon years back was just the timeline of God. And I think it was Pastor Reed that did this. And it was like all these highs and lows on a marker board. And how sometimes when you're in the moment, you can just be really hyper-focused and like you have your telescope out and you're just looking at that one low or that one high. But when you zoom out, like it's a whole picture, and you'll see that the highs and lows, they all just kind of blend out, and God sees the whole picture, and we might not be able to understand why we're going through this low right now or what God's doing, but years later, it might make more sense. So Ryan, I think about, you were a widower very young in life. You lost your wife, Megan, to cancer when Ella was just a baby. I mean, she had just turned 2, so a young toddler, and such a tough time for you. And I'm sure that there were moments where you felt like just, this is a score, like game over, like this is my life defined. But I think about what else God had for your story to continue, how Ella was able to grow in her faith and turn into this beautiful young woman, now engaged and getting ready to start, her own life and family. And, I just think about you and how you grew in your faith through that all, despite of it all, and like how God has really used you through that all. But if you would have just zoomed in on that period of your life, it would have looked very different than it does now. So just know that the current season isn't the whole story. That is just a chapter, right? Like that's just one chapter.
Yeah. I think that's the importance, that seasons change. And I think that's one of the keys to really take hold of, if it's marriage, maybe you're in one of those, and it is a season, but like part of that is, I just am thinking about like the first example that popped up in my head is, you started a new job in January.
Yeah.
Right. And that was a season.
I'm smiling because Ryan cooked dinner like every night for months and months. And you're still cooking a lot of dinner, but I cooked last night.
You did cook last night, yes.
And it was really good.
Yes, but that doesn't have to be the story of your marriage.
Sure.
Right? Like it's
and in this case, it was all good stuff, right?
Yeah,
it just was a change. Right. It was a huge change for our family that added extra pressure.
Right.
And just change.
Yeah, it was a change, but like it's a season of life. Mm-hmm. And then, it changes. Then there's a different season, and it's very easy, I think, to narrow in, to like you said, Michelle, just hyper focus on, and it's easy to start. It's easy to start a narrative, right? Of like, you have one day that maybe you're just not connected, right? Like you're both going different directions and you just haven't connected. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to then plant that seed and start a narrative of saying, oh, we're just so disconnected.
Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be. Like you were today, but it doesn't have to be.
That's great, Ryan.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to turn into, we're so disconnected. We're disconnected today.
Yeah, those are dangerous stories to start telling too. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle, the next thing here is I think the importance of making adjustments instead of giving up.
Sure.
Going back to the soccer, like it would be so easy to go in, let's say you're down 2-0, 2-0
we ruined it. That's game.
at half.
No, they'd never.
It would be very easy to just be like, oh, well, here we are. Like,
right. We're the worst.
But it's so important to look at, okay, what have we done well? Where are the struggles at? Where can we do better?
Yeah.
And I think making those adjustments, making those changes, instead of just saying, oh, we lost.
Yeah.
To know like, hey, the other team scored 2 goals. Mm-hmm. We can score 2 goals. Like we just need to make some changes.
I think too, they will study the other team or the challenge, so studying the other team and their challenger and figuring out, okay, how do we overcome this together?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you just said, making those adjustments, but also learning about that situation so that you can then adjust and overcome it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great. Okay. So third thing is knowing that perseverance creates opportunities for restoration. So I think about diamonds, right? They start out as a big lump of coal, essentially, and that pressure refines them into this beautiful rock, right? Highly valued, beautiful. Nobody would ever wear that, coal or whatever it is. There's probably a technical scientific word for it. Geologists would know, but they would never wear that on a ring, right? But when you refine it, so just know that if you can persevere, that can create some really beautiful moments for restoration that will then strengthen your marriage. So I think about disagreements, and if you can handle those in a healthy manner, that does create an opportunity to restore, and restoring actually makes it stronger. Mm. Like, I feel like we heard that in a sermon once, that it's not even just bringing it back to original, it's actually strengthening it. Yeah. Because now you've been through something really difficult together and you've left united on the same team and you're strengthened. And when that comes up again in the future, you're going to be a little more weatherproof for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Michelle, that's a beautiful picture. I like that. I like that concept of restoration is not just bringing back, but bringing back even better than it was before.
Yeah. I think about, so when I was in high school, I broke my collarbone and I have this big lump on my collarbone right now. They didn't do like a surgery or anything, but when this healed, this bone, I mean, knock on wood, will probably never, ever break in this spot again because it's fortified and it's stronger in this spot because there's like calcium and all this stuff where your body like rebuilds it, right? So it's so strong now because it had to repair and put all of this extra bone material. Not a doctor, so don't like come at me if I'm not explaining this right. But to my knowledge, that was how they explained it. Is like it's so, and that's why there was like this bump here because my body put all this stuff around it to repair and fortify and restore this part of my bone in my body where it's so strong now because there's so much more to it. It's been restored, but it's stronger. It's not the original bone and section. It's stronger.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Michelle, our next point here is that hope matters even when the scoreboard isn't where you'd like it to be. There's something so inspiring about watching a team that doesn't give up. Like,
you feel like Senegal was like that?
It's just one of those things, like, and it's part of why I love sports, is like, I just love watching a team that just never gives up.
It's like, you can see their heart. It's almost an underdog story where it's like, they just won't quit.
Yeah. And I think that's it's so cool. And it's such a great, like, even story for our marriages.
Sure.
You know, to just know that we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep, no matter what that scoreboard is, like, we're just going to keep playing. Yeah. We're going to keep fighting for what matters. And I love watching that. And that's like the beauty of, I think this World Cup is you have all these teams that have never been there before, and they have such pride in their countries that they keep fighting.
Yeah. And I think in your marriage, that could look like, you got to keep shooting, you got to keep passing, you got to keep going through those motions. Yeah. So even if it's messy, even if your conversation doesn't feel like it's perfect, if you're at least trying to communicate, if you're trying to go on dates, if both of you are attempting to try to keep staying in the game, God's going to honor that, right? Like, you gotta get out there. You gotta get out and keep shooting the ball.
Yeah.
You're not gonna ever score if you're just giving up on the sideline.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you gotta, and it's gotta start up here too. And here.
Yeah.
Your mind and your heart.
Yeah.
Like, you have to believe that it is possible.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. I mean, I think that each of these teams that you see out there that are getting scrappy and still fighting, they believe that they have a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. They do.
I mean, look at Cape Verde, or they say that it's technically, they refer to themselves as Cabo Verde, tying against Spain.
Yeah.
One of the early games. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like the little engine that could. Yeah. They came out and they just believed that they could, and they did. Like, who saw that coming?
Right.
Their first time, they're a little island off the coast of West Africa. First time in the World Cup, and they just came out swinging.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Let them inspire you for your
absolutely.
marriage. Like, it's so incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Final one here is trusting God. So trusting God with the outcome and just remaining faithful in the process, knowing that it's like kind of what I was just talking about. If you remain faithful and trust God and you're putting in those steps, if you are going to church, if you're getting into the word, if you're in a life group, you're going to have an outcome. And, for those of you that, have been on like a workout journey or health journey, it's not going to be an overnight change. But if you just get up, I just talked about this at work today, and I use this analogy. We've been doing a lot of things in marketing for systems and processes and structures. And I was talking about how it's kind of like working out too, right? You might not see a change in one day, but if you get up every day and you're hydrating and you're working out and you're taking care of your body and you're eating good, clean, healthy foods, you're going to start to see the outcome. So if you're trusting God with the outcome, but you're putting in that work and you're faithful in that process, He will reward that. You just have to show up and do the things, right? It's kind of like what the World Cup players do. They practice, they show up, they train, and you see it in the outcome, right? So if we can be faithful in the process, we can then trust that God will take care of the outcome. Yeah. So I think about, probably the greatest example of this that I can give in my personal walk is just coming out of a really, really difficult season years before we met, just ending a really bad relationship and recommitting to God that, okay, God, I know that clearly my way's not worked, so I'm trusting you. And I don't know what this looks like, but my counselor told me to come to this place, Celebrate. That's how I got here. And I showed up every week by myself. Some of the weeks I'd be there crying by myself in the rows. And, strangers like one time a gal just put her hand on my shoulder, and it was so appreciated. I was here all alone, there as in like downstairs in our sanctuary. I was in the sanctuary all alone, but also not alone, because there were so many amazing people in the journey with me, and they didn't really even know it, but just their smiles and their hellos meant so much. So, but I was trusting God in that process. I had no idea what He had in store for me. I just knew things are really not working. So what were my options? So I started coming every week. I was here, and then I joined a young adults life group at the time. And I just started going to the classes that the church was offering. And God really honored that, because He started changing me. And it was after that, I wasn't even dating. I was on this journey with God. But it was a couple of years into that where we had a really persistent friend that was like, I need you to meet Ryan. I need you to meet my friend Michelle. Michelle, I need you to meet my coworker Ryan. And we, I was like, I'm not dating anyone. Leave me alone. And that went on for a year, but finally we met. And like just how God has honored that whole process. But that started with me deciding in my heart and mind that I knew I had to change, and I was just going to trust God and be faithful in the process and trust Him with the outcome. Yeah. And here we are. 16 years later. Yeah, Michelle. 16 years this summer.
Yeah, I think it's so, that concept of just being faithful to the process, I think is such an important key, because it's really about every team in this World Cup puts in practice. They put in conditioning. Things
that people never see, the small, tedious little things.
Right. And it's those things, and it's being faithful to that process of continually trusting God, of just, God, you, and I think knowing that He has the outcome.
I think it takes pressure off too, right? Yeah. I can show up and do the actions. I'm going to be faithful in the process, but I can just leave the outcome to God.
Yeah. And that's a huge weight lifted off when you say, God, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to be faithful to the process. I know that you have the outcome.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think there's so much, peace in that. And this coming from somebody that I'm a planner. I love to look at this and that and plan and if I do this, then the outcome's going to be this. But it's so much about being faithful to the process.
And God will multiply it more than you can even imagine, right?
Yeah.
So I think about, we did that with our show last week, and this week we recorded 2 today, and we were up very late last night talking with our daughter, and just some things came up that we were talking about that weren't, intended part of our schedule. And so today for the show, I was like, I just don't feel as prepared. It's like, God, you have to use us. Like, speak in us, speak through us. That's our prayer. Like, it's got to be you all. Like, it's all you, God, because I'm just a vessel. Like, I can't do it apart from you.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like he honors that.
Yeah. Michelle, I'm going to read a scripture, Galatians 6:9. I think this is so good. It says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I love that.
So I'm going to say this again. Our show title, Don't Quit in the Middle of the Match. Well, it's our title as of now, unless we change it.
I love it.
But don't quit in the middle of the match. Don't give up. Keep going. Be faithful in the process. So I'm just going to recap those points. The current season of your marriage isn't the whole story. Make adjustments. Don't give up. Have perseverance, because that can create those moments for restoration that, just like my broken collarbone, are stronger when they're restored, or like a diamond going through fire, or coal going through all of that process, that fire to become a diamond. And keep the hope, right? Think of the scrappy teams in the World Cup that they just believe and they have hope and they know that they can. And even if the scoreboard doesn't show it, they hold on to hope. Yeah. So keep hope in God and know that he can. And then be faithful in the process and ultimately trust God with the outcome.
Yeah. I love it.
All right. Go teams go. And we're talking about your team. We're cheering for your team, your same team marriage. And we're so glad that you joined us today for this special World Cup edition show of the Celebrate MarriageCast. We also have resources at Celebrate..church/marriage. And we would love to have you join us in person or online at Celebrate..church. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Celebrate.church or Celebrate MarriageCast. Have a great week.
Have a great week.